Welcome to Plandish, where plans are flexible, the vibes are good, and the kids are suspiciously quiet. I'm Alexandra, a twin mom, routine realist, and your guide to kinda sorta getting it together. Let's dive into today's episode before someone spills their snack. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Plandish. I have heard my intro song about a million times by now, and I know it's only episode 3, but I still like it. Like, I love jamming out to it every time I do this. But today I am talking to you as one of the many hats a mom wears, a head chef, and we all know this very well. We're going to unpack the invisible load of meal planning, why dinner is never just dinner, because behind every what's for dinner question, it's about 43 micro decisions only moms are making. But I'm going to help you feel a little bit lighter emotionally and logistically throughout this session. Okay, let's just say what we are all thinking. Dinner is never just dinner. Like, I know it's technically a meal, but for moms, it is a full-blown mental Olympics that kicks off the second someone says, "What's for dinner?" And for me, that's usually my husband. It's not his fault, but like, as a parent, it's not about just picking a meal. It's about what's in the fridge. Do we have enough of it? Who ate this last week and now mysteriously hates it? Is this going to be a big, huge blow to our grocery budget? Will I have the energy to cook this by 5 p.m., which is usually a huge one. And it just is an ongoing cycle. This mental load, for me, it's you plan it, you shop it, you cook it, you clean it, all while trying to be a parent, whether you're working, whether you're stay at home, whether you're doing other chores and being asked for snacks. It is the invisible decisions we make before we even make a single list. And everyone always says, oh yeah, just make the list, go grocery shopping, it's easy, no problem. But it's really not just about making the list. If it was about the list, I would say, okay, yeah, I want chocolate M&Ms put down. I want Reese's Pieces. I want like 5 bags of potatoes. I don't know, just something. But it is about thinking about all the other stuff that goes into it. In my brain, I'm thinking, is this healthy? Is this going to start a meltdown? Is this going to require a ton of dishes? How much time is this going to do? Do I have the capacity to boil water while also stopping someone from, drawing crayons on the wall? I personally have planned full weeks of meals only to end up serving chicken nuggets for dinner. And that is the biggest defeat for me. But let's think. One time I planned a slow cooker meal. So easy, you think it's pretty easy. I prepped it. I shopped for it. I got everything up. I chopped all the ingredients. I felt awesome. And then I realized I forgot an entire huge step and burnt the entire dinner. Completely burned it. So I considered it completely throwing it and myself in the trash that evening. But it's not the cooking that is hard. It's, again, the planning, the rethinking, the negotiating with toddlers, because we're going in through that right now, and with your own time and energy. Old me used to completely wing it and shop without a list and end up spending way more at the grocery store than I could have ever imagined. And then I have things that don't even go with meals. You ever shop on a whim, you're pulling stuff, and you're like, oh, this sounds good, this snack sounds good, this food sounds good. But when you're ready to make a meal, you actually don't have all the ingredients to go with it. But then guess what? You end up shopping again. You go to the grocery store a couple times. And by all means, I know some moms go multiple times a week, and that's to get out of the house. That's to have an activity. And you do whatever you need to do by all means. But for us, I like to get it done once, grocery shop, get home, so I don't have to do it again. And if I wanted to run out again, I'm doing something else with the kids. But everyone, do what you have to do on your own. And I also feel like it's just become this ongoing cycle of I cook so much great food and then nobody eats it. The kids don't want it. My husband doesn't eat leftovers. Or I want to cook these meals because, oh my gosh, they're eating so much food. Maybe I should have made good meals this week and there's not much food. So it's this ongoing battle you have with this whole meal planning. But reminder, it is not just planning. It is managing expectations, managing meltdowns, and if you were like me who has a kid with an allergy, you're also managing allergies thrown in there. The mental load of dinner is so real. It is not what's for dinner. It's what's affordable, what's fast, what's not boring, what's not going to get thrown on the floor. So yeah, dinner is never just dinner. And honestly, having that realization completely changed it all for me. I'm going to add in a fun new little segment to just test it out. I'm calling it my Plandish pivot of the week. I will start telling mine, and then obviously I will start reaching out to others to kind of get their input and everything. So keep a lookout for Instagram and threads at Back to Home Base. But this week's moment where the plan went completely out the window and I had to pivot very hard. So we were supposed to have a full homemade pasta night, like down to the noodles and the bread. And yes, I was being very extra. I like to, when I'm having a good dinner and I love to cook, I do. I wanted to make homemade bread. I wanted to literally do the noodles, that you make the noodles and roll the dough. And then Brody got sick, one of the twins. I lost all motivation to do that. And we ended up eating bananas and toast, and my husband and I had PB&Js. And guess what? Nobody died. Not even close. We all lived. Yes, I had leftovers or food to make at another time, but we reflected on what the pivot taught us is that flexibility is success when you're parenting and planning at the same time. If you don't have flexibility, you are effed. I mean, you could try as hard as you want, but reality is you've got to be flexible and fluid. And that's part of my type A personality. Like growing up, I would have all these plans, and when they would go awry, you feel like you almost want to short circuit as a type A person. But over time, that broke down a little bit on me. So you have to learn to be a little bit fluid within your rigid, the way that you are. So that is my Plandish pivot for the week. And now moving on to the real meaty part of this whole topic is how I actually made meal planning lighter on myself. So now that I've actually emotionally processed the trauma of the 5 p.m. dinner panic, let's dive into this helpful tips. So first, I had to let go of the idea that I needed a plan for a wonderful meal every single night. The reality is, it's not just my husband and I. We don't have all the time in the world. And don't get me wrong, I do love cooking, but because now you're doing it every day and toddlers thrown in, it does become a chore. I just wanted peace and food that didn't cause a full-blown meltdown. So I came up with my Plandish meal flow. Not a strict plan again. You'll hear me say this 1,000 times over. It's not a rotating calendar. It is a flow. And I rely heavily on my little weekly flows. But it's a vibe, a guideline, something I could flex with. So here is what it looked like. I picked theme nights to reduce decision fatigue. And it's not every night, but a few. You got to have something like a Taco Tuesday. Everybody loves Taco Tuesday. I have one of my best friends. She and her husband do Taco Tuesday every single week. I think she's done it since as long they've been together, and I think it's been 10 years. But good for them. We do it most Tuesdays. Not every. We'll shift it around. That's fine. Leftover Thursdays, frozen pizza Fridays. And it doesn't have to be, oh my God, every week frozen pizza Friday. You're just shifting it around. You got to throw those nights in every once in a while. Second thing is I created a go-to meal bank, which had about 10 to 12 meals that we rotate. So yes, I will make meals, and one of my favorite people to follow of all time is Half Baked Harvest. Go check out her Instagram. Just her food pictures alone make you want to eat everything. But some nights I want to get creative and I want to make some of her meals. So I will throw in I call it a little bit of a foo-foo meal in there. Just so I can get my creativity back, get liking cooking again. And then you have your staple meals. So with my meal bank, I'll throw one of those in there, but I also throw in meatloaf. We are big meatloaf people. It's easy. I throw in like a chicken dish with orzo. Things I know how to cook, the kids will eat, or at least not dramatically spit out, and that don't use a ton of dishes or pots. Because yes, I do the cooking and occasionally I'll clean up, but that will be my husband's area. He does clean up the dishes to kind of help alleviate. So, I'm being a little kind when I want to make a 1-pot meal, or if I'm trying to get back at him, I'll make like a 30-pot meal and say, oops, you're cleaning tonight. He absolutely loves that. But that list of the meal bake kind of stays on the fridge, so it's a easy something to go back to. I am, side note, and hush hush, I am working on a digital planner that has a place for you to put your meal bake in online. So that is to stay tuned. But I am not reinventing the wheel at 5 o'clock every day or every week. I'm not sitting down saying, what is something completely new that I can create? I'm only throwing that in maybe once every 2 or 3 weeks if I want to learn to create something. I like challenging myself, but not everybody has to do that. And then the third thing, I accepted that emergency meals are real and necessary. So emergency meals are chicken tenders for the kids, including my husband. Him and I both love chicken tenders. It's quick and easy. Frozen pizzas, pancakes for dinner, something that is easy I can throw on a plate. It is like chef's kiss, saving grace when you're having a meltdown or just a horrible day or you really just don't even feel like cooking. And that's also when leftovers can come into play as well. Just pull a leftover, reheat, and you're done. Or if you want to get really crazy, some days I know if I'm going to make a meatloaf or a stew, I will triple the recipe and then I will freeze it. So it's so easy to pull it out and defrost. And then that's actually like a couple days that I don't need to focus on thinking of a meal, eating a meal, creating, so on and so forth. So that's something very, very easy to do. And then the last thing, and this is a big one, and I don't know all my listeners, the 2 of you, or not, just kidding, the many of you have seen, I did have a meal flow that is in my Back to Balance weekly flow. It is a little section. It's part of my weekly anchors, I like to call it, where you can write everything down, snacks. It has snack ideas. It has little helpful tips of like cleaning out the fridge. So for me on Thursdays, everybody knows that's my day. I do a quick fridge clean out. I write down 3 to 4 meal ideas and I make sure I have at least one thing I can throw together without causing a fuss. That's the quick and easy emergency meal. But if I'm feeling ambitious, I will grocery shop that day and get it all done, which I normally do because I just like to get it off my plate. But there are times when I'm like, it is not happening today. It is not happening with a grocery shopping. So it is a frozen meal night or we are ordering pizza, which, hand up, I think we do at least once a week. We are a huge pizza family. Even my boys love pizza. That is something I know that worst case scenario, we can always go pick up Domino's down the road. Either way, I am prepared-ish, and that is completely enough. So since shifting to a flow instead of a rigid meal plan, everything has felt definitely lighter. Not totally stress-free. It's not magical, but it is lighter. These quick little tips, which honestly is all I really wanted. I just wanted something to just alleviate a little bit off of me. So no, I do not have a perfect meal plan, but I have a plan that lets me live my real life and feed my peeps. And to me, that is completely the greatest success ever. But I am not a chef. I am a mom with a dry erase board, a Costco membership, and a dream of no one asking what is for dinner ever again. And speaking of which, I'm going to mention this again, this Skylight calendar. That thing is amazing. We put in our meals for the week, and my husband, not going to lie, he actually goes and looks at it. When the grandparents visit, they could see what the babies are having for dinner, what's snack time. It's kind of a lifesaver. So if you want that effect of somewhat looking like a written calendar, but you can also, if you're away, you can input it on your phone. Highly recommend something like that. Now I am planning for flexibility with way less decision fatigue because let's be real, if I write zucchini lasagna on a Tuesday, someone is probably getting chicken nuggets anyways, so you just gotta be flex. It's time for my brand new segment, my favorites of the week, or I'm definitely open to suggestions. This is where I'm going to share low effort, high sanity savers that are absolutely carrying me right now based on the week's theme. So this week is meals. So you'll notice all my posts as well at Back to Home Base will be all meal focused and time, energy, budgeting, etc. So this week, easy snacks for me, for the kids, for anyone who won't stop asking for food every 9 minutes. But this week's favorites, and I listed out a couple ideas and take what you want, but we love yogurt pouches, those Stonyfield yogurt pouches. They're great. They're refrigerated, a little bit of protein, or you can go ahead and buy on Amazon those little pouches and make your own. We do that quite often. I will prep like yogurt and applesauce or yogurt, apples, and bananas in a blender and put those in there. Those are great things to grab on the go. Peanut butter pretzels from Trader Joe's, excellent win. For younger kids, I do Baby Bell cheese and cut up grapes. Like Brody is obsessed with Baby Bell cheese. That kid probably can eat the entire package of those little ones. Another one, fruit bowl with Cheerios. I call it a little parfait minus the yogurt, and I give it to them, and they're very excited to pull their Cheerios out, their little cut up fruit. When we have snack time, the boys love it. And also for my husband. But another one, banana peanut butter cake bars. I read those online, and I made those the other day. I'll try to find the link and add it to my story, and on Instagram. But they were so good, and the boys loved them. They're high protein, barely any sugar. Took me maybe 15 minutes to make, and you can freeze them if you want or keep them in the fridge. Super great snack. Another one is making mini muffins. I actually do make mini muffins every single week for the boys because, yes, sometimes I'll throw them as snacks. Sometimes they're breakfast. Sometimes they're lunch. And hand up, they have become dinner too when dinner has flown out the window. So mini muffins, highly recommend. Look at Yummy Toddler Food on Instagram or Feeding Tiny Bellies. Those are my two favorite gals on Instagram that do amazing baby and toddler food recipes. Some more snack ideas are cheese and apple slices. That's always a great one. Of course, you eating snacks in secret because self-care means hiding chocolate bars in the laundry room. Every mom needs her own snacks. Yes. Please go get some for yourself right now because I guarantee you have snacks for everybody in your household except for yourself. And that happens to me all the time. My husband's always like, why don't you get food for you? I'm like, oh, brilliant idea. If I had the mental space to do that, I would go ahead and get some, but I always forget. So I'm trying to leave myself with a sticky note on the door all the time. Whenever I run out, get snacks for yourself, and mine is chocolate. So that is a good one. Snack cups. So Snap cups, I don't know if you've seen on Amazon. They're these little plastic containers. I don't know how you guys feel about plastic, but we shift. We do glass, plastic, whatever. But I've seen people prep a lot of stuff in those, like carrots and ranch, peanut buttered apples, and prep those for the week. So kids just grab them and you can grab them. They're very easy. And then the last thing I've seen is people take mini muffin tins or muffin tins and like 6 of them or whatever, and put a couple different little snack things in each little muffin tin. And their kids love to choose and pick each one from those. So I saw that and it was a really, really cute idea. So those are some favorite snack of the week. I will try to do those based on the theme, but if you have any other good ones or suggestions, please do not hesitate to reach out. Okay, one of my favorite little segments, let's check in with the group chat, aka the real MVPs, because we all know meal planning isn't just as simple as just cook something. So this was the one thing that I posted that actually quite a few people responded to, and it was hilarious. So the question of the week is, what's one thing your kid refuses to eat that makes no sense? I'm going to start with one that made me pretty much laugh right off the bat. And also, let me preface, this is judgment free. I will not share your name, no worries, unless you want me to, but completely judgment free. And these responses are great. So one person said that a 2-year-old refused whipped cream because he said it was too spicy. That is such a toddler response. Like, I absolutely love it. Another person said, if I make pasta with meatballs, I must not mention it's made with minced meat to my youngest. Otherwise, he'll refuse to eat it. It's so funny what kids pick up and everything. Another person said, my now 19-year-old, when he was about 6, he didn't like meatballs. I made and continue to make as much food from scratch. My meatballs and burger patties are the exact same recipe, and he absolutely loved my burgers. I would just make him 2 flattened meatballs instead of burgers. He used to see me do this on occasion, and his younger brother would also tell him how ridiculous he was being. That is so true of a kid. Like, oh my gosh. I'm just going to tell you mine because it just came to me. So Tate, my other twin, he refuses to touch broccoli. He is a kid that, yes, he's not even 2 yet, but he will make a face. He'll stick out his tongue. He'll spit at me. He'll like move his body around. Refuses to eat broccoli. But if I take broccoli and mix it with a sweet potato, he loves it. He thinks it's the best thing. He can't get enough. He shovels so much food in his mouth that he's pretty much gagging on it. He loves it. Makes no sense to me. Another person said loves plain apples, loves porridge, but is disgusted by small pieces of apple in a porridge. That is so true. That is a toddler thing. Another girl said red dragon fruit because he's scared to see his face in the mirror when he's eating it. Oh my gosh, that's great. Someone else said they love ketchup but won't eat tomatoes. Like, ma'am, do you think ketchup comes from the snack fairy? I cannot tell you how many kids, and even adults, like, that's my husband. My husband's Joe. Like, I say my husband all the time, but I need to start saying Joe. He loves ketchup, but he refuses to touch a tomato. I mean, I get it. It's a different texture. Some people are texture people. It's fine. Someone said she'll eat seaweed snacks, but won't go near a banana. That is very interesting. That, again, could be a texture thing. I don't know. Someone said they won't eat pizza unless it's from the triangle box, aka Domino's. But if it's homemade, they refuse. So a kid only likes going out to eat. That's pretty funny. Last one said he won't eat fruit in the house, but devours a bruised apple of the park like it's fine dining. Oh gosh, kids just do not make sense, but it's so great. I love it. There are so many other good ones. I'm going to have to make this segment a little bit longer, but I don't want to take up so much time. So I am posting these weekly on Threads and Instagram at Back to Home Base. So please feel free to submit anything. No judgment. It could be the smallest thing. It could be weird. I don't even care. We just all want to have a good laugh throughout the week. But that's it. So the next time someone asks you what's for dinner and you're tempted to scream into the fridge, just remember you're doing it. You're feeding people, and that is love. That is labor. That is full-on mental gymnastics. You are doing fabulous. Meal planning doesn't have to be fancy to be functional, and it doesn't have to be rigid to be right for your family or cost you your mental health. Literally just follow. Look what I'm posting on Instagram this past 2 days and this week. Hopefully it's super helpful. Go with emergency meals. Pick 3 bases. Be able to pivot, but don't stress yourself trying to plan the perfect dinner. Unless you want to and you have that time, by all means, go for it. But plan it, budget it, mom it, Palange style always. And if all else fails, order the damn pizza. I love it. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. If nothing else, you showed up, and that's the most Palandish thing you can do. Subscribe, share it with your chaos crew, and I'll see you next week.